Hey again, so I guess this is my second live. And I think I'm just going to wait around for a minute to see if anybody will pick back up. I did my very first live just a minute ago, and then I ended it abruptly because somebody in the comments, I saw that somebody said, banned, banned. But then I went into my studio and I saw that the video was there. So I don't know if you guys are, if it got banned or, and then I saw somebody else jump on after it said it was banned, so I was super confused. Anyways, I just ended it, but I am definitely feeling, I'm not hot-headed. I just realized, like, whenever I come onto TikTok, it's because I feel our democracy is threatened. Let's just put it to you that way. I've never come to this venue to like look at people doing weird stuff in their backyards or follow somebody's life around to see what they're doing. The only time I've ever really come here is to get like what other people, how other people are framing it or what other information is available. I mean, I do have a particular bent. I've always liked political science, you know. In fact, the day that Cittadini was first elected, I had just finished a thesis because I went back to college late. I had just finished a paper for it was a semifinal, because remember he was elected mid-November. And I had done a paper on how did Pinochet get installed. And I discovered, because we were talking about democracies and how they fail. This was what was going on in this class. And so I took a particular interest in Chile because Chile had Allende, and they were like, he was doing such great things. Like, how did this guy take over, right? So I did a deep dive into it and discovered that the so-called coup wasn't really a coup. It was the CIA installing somebody that they were supposed to get elected, but the people didn't want him so badly they voted for the other guy. So the CIA said, screw it, we're just going to put him in. And that's what they did. They terminated the other one and installed this guy. And then I was like, wow, how did that come about? So I actually did this paper. I did a deep dive into it historically, and I discovered, oh, here's somebody joining us. Hi, you guys. So this is me. I'm talking about what's happened in America and what's motivated me to come. I realize when I come to TikTok, the only time I come here is when I feel threatened by Cittadini and the ensuing fascism that the Democrats are just like refusing to even think about. Like, it's just unbelievable. So I decided after what happened today with Jimmy Kimmel, I would go live, no filter, although my sister told me I should put a filter on because then people will look at me more. But like, to be honest, I want to be unfiltered. I want to just be myself. And I want to defend free speech. And I hope every single person that joins this live feed goes live or posts a video and states, even if you have to use code, which I am, as you can tell, calling him Cittadini, using code. We all know who Cittadini is, right? So I did a live, just another little live. I was planning on doing this, and then I was on for like 15-20 minutes, and somebody here said, ban, ban, because I was just ranting and blah, blah, blahing without coding my words. So I stopped it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I am going to I downloaded it, and I am going to post it up. Probably on my YouTube channel, which is Beyond Extinction Love. So thank you guys for joining me. And I am outraged about ABC just putting Jimmy Kimmel on temporary suspension, like indefinitely. That's outrageous. I am not actually stunned, but I am outraged that the Democratic Party has had zero response. By now, we should have impeachment papers drawn up, and that should be the big news. We should have television on 24/7 to see what Congress is doing, because this is just outrageous that no Democrats are demanding impeachment of these fascists that are literally overthrowing our government before our very eyes, and literally graping our economy for their own personal benefit. What do you think? $145 billion. Who's going to get that money? All of the friends of Cittadini. That's who's getting all the money. And who are they going to throw into those camps? All of us. Going back to what I talked about when I first got here about 5 or 10 minutes ago when I was in college, the day that Cittadini was elected, I had just turned in a paper outlining how Pinochet got installed by the American, well, let's just put it, I don't want to use the word, I did say it earlier, but let's just say the Central Unintelligence Office, right? So them, after creating like a fake coup and installing Mr. Pinochet, who they thought was a great guy, and Nixon loved, by the way, Nixon loved Pinochet, by the way, because he was doing what they wanted, because Allende had basically installed democratic programs to help the poor and was demanding these corporations pay their dividends and pay the country for the money that the resources they were taking out of it. So they had to get rid of him, right? Incomes, I actually call him, I should call him, I used to call him, Cittadini Pinochet 2.0, but maybe we should call Pinochet Cittadini 1.0, because that's who he is, Cittadini 1.0. So they paid El Mercurio $1 million in 1965 or 64. Our government paid El Mercurio, the largest newspaper in Chile, $1 million to write pro-Pinochet stories and anti-Allende stories before the election, a year before the election. It started about a year and a half. And they agreed to pay them $1 million in 1965 to write pro-Pinochet stories so that the electorate voted for Pinochet, but guess what? They didn't vote for him. So they had to install him. So then they went to part 2 of the plan, which is pay off the parliament. To do what? To forego their oversight, because they had a constitution written similar to ours, where the parliament oversaw the executive branch. So they paid them to forego their constitutional duty to oversee the president and to elect corrupt judges, to appoint corrupt judges, and to pass laws to give the dictator more power. That was what they paid them for. The CIA did this, actually. That's who that was. And I hope that I don't get blocked for that. But it's what they did. And it's all verifiable. This is not like conspiracy theory. This is all very well-known history. If anybody wants to read about history, what happened to Chile, this is exactly what really did happen. So then they paid off. Part 3 of the plan was pay the judges, so that when the dictator inevitably violates civil law, because remember, they had a constitution with civil law, these guys would make excuses for them and allow them to put people into prisons and torture them, aka, haven't we seen that recently? I mean, John Roberts should be really ashamed of himself. It is a disgrace. He's not an idiot, and he's not, I honestly, before this, I did not think that John Roberts was a cruel man. But I am stunned at the last few decisions that he's made to protect Cittadini. It is unbelievable. So the 3 pillars of what installed Pinochet are exactly what happened in the United States, in case you guys are wondering. And how did it start? This gets me back to the first thing, is our right to free speech has been hindered today with Jimmy Kimmel being fired. The second TV host knocked off television. That is outrageous. This is beyond outrageous. People need to start their own lives and start bitching and moaning, because the only way we're going to fight back against these rats is to just say, no, we're not accepting it. We have a Constitution of the United States that gives us the right to free speech. And calling him Cittadini and calling them the new Gestapo is not hate speech. They are the new Gestapo. It is outrageous. And it is not outrageous to call for the arrest or the impeachment of Donald Trump or any of his gang thugs that he has around him, starting with Mr. Stephen Miller, who his own family said is a schnazi. It's outrageous. Like, we are being led to slaughter by lazy politicians who prefer to have the oligarchs in charge. This is why Hakeem Jeffries won't start impeachment hearings. He doesn't want impeachment hearings. He likes the oligarchy being in charge, just like Nancy Pelosi did. Nancy Pelosi had an opportunity to start impeachment of Donald Trump in 2017 when he immediately violated the emoluments clauses. And then after that was ignored, what did he do? He locked kids in cages and separated 1,000 kids who never got reconciled from their parents, along with a bunch of other horribly illegal things. At which point, she was forced to start 2 impeachment hearings. Really? Forced to? Like, Hakeem Jeffries, to me, might as well re-register as a Republican, in my view. I mean, I am so over Hakeem Jeffries. I know I'm an older Democrat and I need to go Sig Heil to Nancy Pelosi, kiss the ring, Nancy Pelosi. But honestly, in my view, she gave us Trump. And I am sick of the Democrats playing politics. They thought they would leave this monster in and then everybody would hate the Republicans and it would bolster up the Democratic Party. That's exactly what they thought. And today's culmination of Jimmy Kimmel being put off after Colbert is a direct result of Democratic leadership management of our Constitution, which is failing, failing massively. I am up to here with these people. And I hope that all of you who are listening to me will go on your own channels and start speaking like this and saying the facts, not only to the Republicans who have betrayed our country. They all went to RUSSIA on July 4th, 2018, 6 of them, including then Senator John Thune, who is now the leader of the Senate. You wonder why John Thune is the leader of the Senate? Because in 2018, he met with Lavrov, and they sealed the deal on how to overthrow the United States Constitution and undermine it legally so that it could be turned into an oligarchy, just like Russia's democracy. And TikTok, if you ban this, then you are against democracy, which I wouldn't be shocked if you're owned by the Chinese. But anyways, I hope that you guys all will do your own thing on TikTok and YouTube. I post all this stuff up on my YouTube channel, which is Beyond Extinction Love. I changed my name on my YouTube channel to match my name here on TikTok, so it's just all easier. Everybody just knows me like that. But I don't know about you guys, but this thing with Jimmy Kimmel today, it raised up my TikTok flares, because the only time I come onto TikTok is when I start feeling like our democracy is under siege. It's like, it's shocking. Like, I am just like beyond comprehension that anybody buys into this thing that Mr. KIRK was, you know what, by somebody that they say he was, because that story, it's not, none of it makes sense. You know, the real reason, it was the Reichstag. This was planned as a Reichstag moment. Just like Reichstag was planned, if anybody knows history, Reichstag was planned also by the supporters of Hitler. So it is exactly, to be honest, it's like so shocking. The dynasties that supported Hitler, who lived in the United States during World War II, are the same dynasties behind Pinochet and behind Cittadini. The very same ones. So no wonder what we are is at a clash, because you know what happens when violent domestic abusers know that the relationship is over? They get more violent and more dangerous, right? And these guys, how do I say this as a coded word? WHITE, you know what, is those people, the ones that starts with K and ends with K, the 3-letter word starts with K and ends with K, those guys, we're done with that. The world is done with that entire thing. We've had 600 years of oppression based on skin color or religion. We're done with that. But they're not happy about it. They've had power for 600 years. They do not want to let go. So what do? They create a sacrificial lamb, and immediately, why do you think Musk was the first person to come out and start demonizing Democrats? Because it was part of the plan. It's outrageous. I mean, have Americans just lost their integrity, or have they lost their sense of history, or they just don't understand our Constitution? Or, I mean, I'm baffled, to be honest. Like, I am. This week was hard for me. My daughter, when KIRK was, you know what, my daughter told me that she loved him. She confessed to me. I'm like, I don't believe in what he did, but, you know, like, he's white, right? Like honestly, it's horrible. Nobody should die like that. You know what I mean? But you know what I realized afterwards? Well, anyways, she was like, what? I said, man, he hates women. He wants to take our rights away, and we're edifying this guy. That's what happened. Was at her church, they gave a moment of silence to him, and I'm like, did you go to your church? Because I watch her church on Sundays, essentially, to watch what they're saying to my grandkids. So I'm like, did you see that? She's like, yes. She's like, Mom, I loved him. And I'm like, what? Like, you know what? He hates women. You know what? I mean, she was like, Mom, that is all a lie. I'm like, oh my God. So I sent her a bunch of clips, and of course, we haven't talked about it, and she hasn't responded. That's what happens when you challenge cult members, is you send them the real information. Like the day of January 6th, I had the same event with my sister. We were on the phone on January 6th. She was talking to me, helping me. She's an insurance agent. She was helping me get on Social Security because I had to get on Social Security. So she's helping me find all this stuff. And I clicked on the TV, and then there's like all this violence, like, and Trump flags and police and fighting. It was about 8 a.m. It was 8:30 a.m. on that day. And so I guess it was about noon that time. So it was really in the thick of it, right? And she turns on her, she's like, she goes, that's Black Lives Matter. That's Antifa making President Trump look bad. That was her first response. So it is a hard one. It's hard like this. You know, like our family's been infected by brainwashing, you guys. It's like, we're sick of white supremacy. Let's just be really clear. It is done. It's over with. I'm done with this whole attitude of white nationalism and Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism is AKA for, you know, white supremacy. And I hope that doesn't get me blocked, but I do have a right to say what I want. I mean, there isn't one master race. There's one human race, and we're all one people, including gay people who God created. So all this, you know, the United States, our Constitution gives us the right to free speech. And actually, it also says, you know, abridging the freedom of speech, you know, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. We are not a Christian nation. I mean, honestly, if you read our Constitution, what we have been, actually, to be honest, this all comes back from Newt Gingrich. This all comes back from the days of the Tea Party. So for me, I don't call them maggots anymore. I call them Newts, because that's what they are. Newt Gingrich is the person that taught American Republicans to not cooperate. It's my way or the highway, and to be 100% hypocritical publicly. Because Newt Gingrich was whining and crying about Clinton while he himself was perpetrating even worse because his wife was dying in a hospital and he was having an ongoing affair. I mean, it's outrageous. You know, I want Americans to actually fight back and get public and start speaking out. And even if you have to talk in code and call him Cheetolini or whatever, which I am doing, because, I mean, I guess they'll get it eventually. Well, this is the deal. In America, we're worried about being rounded up. Is that what the $145 billion was meant for, the GOP? Is that what you wanted? Get rid of your little problems, just stick them in a prison and let, Cheetolini's friends get rich from it? Which, by the way, does anybody know this? That Tom Homan, before he became the director of Homeland Security, you know what he did? He was a private contractor for one of the largest companies that builds prison housing. Isn't that an interesting detail? So, I mean, this is not, we really need the Nuremberg trials when this is all over with, because these people are perpetrating crimes. And where is Hakeem Jeffries? And where is Chuck Schumer? Today, on this day, have we heard a Democratic response so far? I haven't heard it. Have you guys? Have we heard Hakeem Jeffries take to the microphone and say, we need to start impeachment hearings because they're starting to impinge on the freedom of speech? Right now we have 2 people who were fired, 2 entertainers, because the Department of Justice put the thumb on them as if they were breaking the law, intimidating them. That's clear evidence of impeachable offenses. So where is Hakeem Jeffries with that one? Are we just supposed to accept the fact that we have Democratic leaders who want the oligarchy, who don't really like our Constitution, and they don't really like their arm of the so-called party that they're supposed to be representative? Is that why he doesn't support Mamdani? Is that the answer? Because Mamdani's actually like a real Democrat, not like Hakeem Jeffries, who ought to re-register as a Republican. But he doesn't want to re-register because he's black and he wouldn't get anywhere in the Republican Party. So he's going to stay a Democrat because the Democrats are like, oh yeah, we don't care about skin color. I mean, I am so over the Democrats, you guys. Democrats, and it's not even just that. I'm sick of us having to apologize for being too sensitive about the law. Like, all these people are saying, oh, well, we inflamed the right because we made everybody feel like they couldn't be comfortable. Screw you. Like, you know what? Just stop being a-holes. Like, people can be themselves. Let people be. All these Karens that go after these people that are gay or trans or, whatever, a black man with his white child because he's married to a white woman gets accosted at a park and she feels like she's, like, entitled to question him. Like, to be honest, Americans we have this weird thing in our culture where we think we can just do whatever we want. It's like so bizarre. Like, people need to just step back and look at our Constitution. Like, this thing with Cheetolini, he needs to be impeached. He's over there in England right now getting the royal treatment because they don't want him to come down on England with the hard tariffs. So they're giving him the sweet treatment so they get a sweet deal, which they should. We shouldn't have any of these stupid tariffs, to be honest. It's ridiculous. But they're laying it out. But the one thing I did watch it, did you see that they played the Darth Vader theme? And he's standing like an idiot at the Darth Vader theme. I mean, honestly, we are humiliated. Hey, so I'm just now seeing some people's name. Hey, Yakaya. I'm just now getting on it. I don't really see. This is actually my very second live, you guys. So I don't know much about lives except that you get to talk for as long as you want. And that's really what I wanted to do. Because I am literally, I'm not mad. I'm just like, I'm flabbergasted that we do not hear Hakeem Jeffries demanding impeachment after Jimmy Kimmel got fired. I mean, honestly, like I said, the only real reason I come to TikTok is when I feel like our democracy is under threat. If you look at my history, it's all about that. None of it is like sharing my family or doing the weird stuff that I do. You know what I mean? Like honestly, it's all about figuring out how we are going to energize Americans to get involved with our democracy and let it matter. And have a real conversation about compromise. And without this hard line, my way or the highway, like Newt Gingrich demanded of us. I mean, ever since Newt Gingrich came around, it's been the Republicans are my way or the highway. We've busted our government. We're just about on the verge of collapse. I, for one, don't want the Democrats to vote for Jack. I think they should break the fucking government. No offense. I know it'd be painful, but you know what? Up those guys. Like, what they want to fund, what they're going to insist on funding is going to hurt so many people. So if we say no to that, everybody gets hurt. This is why Hakeem Jeffries doesn't like it when I call his office, which I do. When I tell him he needs to re-register as a Republican and resign as the leader of the Democratic Party. Him and Nancy Pelosi have done so much harm to this Democratic Party. I know that's going against the groove of what everybody expects me to kiss her ring, but honestly, she has damaged our party so much. Remember, she's the person who took impeachment off the table when she saw the Abu Ghraib tapes under George Bush Jr. She saw the atrocities that Alberto Gonzales had perpetrated against people in our name for the first time. And she took impeachment off the table. That was it. From that moment on. And then you know what, the second woman who saw, there was two women, two Democrats who saw those tapes. They were both women. And do you know what Jane Harman did when she got out? She went out and wrote the Homegrown T-Word Act. I don't want to say the whole word. It's, T-blank-R-R word act. Right? It's the Homegrown Blank Act. You can look it up by Jane Harman. And it basically, you know what, one of the things it really does, this is why we've not had a general strike since then. If you organize a very successful general strike that affects the corporations of the United States, you could be deemed a T-word and jailed for life. That is a felony. Just for organizing it. That was passed into law, I think 2007 or 8. And so those were two Democrats. And Nancy Pelosi's gotten all these accolades about how great she's whipped up her party. Yeah, she did. She allowed her party to let this guy get reelected. She refused to do her duty the first time he broke the emoluments clause. I used to call her office all the time and demand those impeachment hearings. Ralph Nader had the Ralph Nader radio show on YouTube. He had like a 13-part series. I think it was with Alan Feldman, or I think that was his first name. He was an attorney. And they outlined 13 things during the first administration that were impeachable offenses. Verifiable impeachable offenses. Not made up, all based on lies. She absolutely refused to act on it. And now, here we are. Where now he calls up ABC and says, hey, Jimmy Kimmel made fun of us because we didn't like what he said about the Kirk thing. Like implying that one of us did it when we know it was you, when in fact it was one of them who did it. The left did not do this. The progressive movement did not do this. Antifa did not do this. There is no Antifa. But nobody from that side. The George Floyd movement did not do this. The Moms Demand Action movement did not do this. It was the MAGA people who have done it consistently in our country. In fact, every attempt on Cheetah life has been done by a MAGA. Now, you can say whether that is actually proof that he sets them up himself or not, but that is the reality, that those are the people who did this. It's outrageous. Here, I'm going to show you this cup again. My grandma cup. I love my cup. My grandkids gave me this. So look, I want to thank everybody who's here live with me, but I really had to get this off my chest. I hope that all of you will join the ACLU. I think they take any kind of a payment. They'll send you this little red book, and it is the Constitution of the United States with the articles of the United States that outlines how our government is set up, and then the amendments that basically tell us what our rights are. And today our rights were violated, and I am demanding that Hakeem Jeffries start articles of impeachment. And in fact, I called his office and my Congresswoman's office, Andrea Salinas. I called her office and told her I want impeachment hearings, and I'm going to call them again today. And when I stand up on October 18th at the No King's Day protest, I'm actually going to a wedding on that day. My nephew's getting married that day. So I am going to bring my protest sign down to another city where he's getting married in, what's it called, Grants Pass, which I know is a pretty Republican place. But I'm going to hold up my sign that says impeach Trump, because Trump needs to be impeached. We need to stop this. And this is the thing that really makes me the most upset about Hakeem Jeffries and the Democratic leadership. There is no other way to stop Trump. There's two ways to stop a president who is breaking the law. One is through impeachment, and the other one is through the 25th Amendment if you can prove his incompetence, which we could exercise that one, but they're not. That requires his cabinet to vote on that, and I don't think that they're going to do that. So the only option we have is impeachment. And frankly, the guy has broken our laws every day since he's been in office. And if Mike Johnson just has piles and piles and piles and piles and piles of impeachment articles sitting on his desk to the point where he wants to whine and complain to CNN that the Democrats are doing nothing but giving him impeachment articles and refuse to come to the committee meeting so that they can get something done, fine with me. I think the Democrats need to boycott every single committee hearing until Mike Johnson submits articles of impeachment. And Hakeem Jeffries needs to get the heck out of the way, because he is impeding our government as much as Cittadini. And I am over the Democrats playing apology politics. They need to start demanding impeachment. This is outrageous. Jimmy Kimmel was put on ice today because the government called up his show and said, oh, we don't like what he said. That violates our constitutional rights. Your rights were, oh my gosh, violated, and my rights were violated. Our rights are being violated by this government. And none of us should walk around afraid that we're going to get rounded up by the new Gestapo because of what we say to them. So I hope all of you, whoever is listening to this or whoever can see this, will post on your own channel, on your own page, and start talking out and saying that we have a right to free speech, and Jimmy Kimmel needs to be reinstated by CBS. Unless CBS or ABC, just like Colbert, just ABC needs to just stop being part of the fascist group. The Disney people, they just need to stop. They just tell Trump, up yours, take us to court, we'll win. They will win. Stand up to the fascists and you win, because they do not stand on the rule of law. That is the key. So, okay, you guys, so I'm going to end here. I don't know how long I've been talking, but I hope that every single person who has joined here, I think there's a handful. I don't know how to talk, so I don't know how to say and communicate back in this thing. This is my very first thing, and I haven't figured this out. Like, obviously I'm a boomer, right? So I like the technology thing is not secondhand to me, and I can't figure out how to communicate with any of you. So thank you for being here, and thank you for attempting to interact. And more than anything, I hope that everybody who sees this video will actually post on your TikTok or your YouTube page or your Instagram page or Blue Sky or Threads or Facebook or wherever it is. I've been permanently banned from Twitter, so I can't go there. But actually, I don't believe in like going to X, because you're feeding the monster being on there. So I say boycott that. That's my thing. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to tell you, put your courage feet on because we need it. And please take action. Please speak out and defend our democracy. And don't be afraid to say what you really feel. And you know what? Happiness is resistance. So it's extremely important not to let it get to you, because our oppressors want us to feel miserable, because miserable people are easy to manipulate. So just remember that. And second thing to remember, love is greater than fear. So the love that we feel for each other is bigger than the fear that they want to create. So do post about your right to free speech, and Jimmy Kimmel's right to free speech, and Colbert's right to free speech, and the fact that they are defunding colleges and education is beyond comprehension. This tells you who these people really are. So we can fight back. And by the way, please do read a really good book called Black Like Me, written by John Howard Griffin. It was written in 1959, but it tells you a lot about America, helps you understand how we can actually push back. So take care, you guys. I'm going to try to figure out how to end this live.